It's funny how you always hear new fighting game videos saying there's never been a better time to get into fighting games. Found that kind of odd because I feel like every time is okay to be in fighting games. But something that I've been battling for a little bit is while you can get into fighting games at any time, time is probably one of the biggest commodities that we don't have anymore. At least for me. Now, this is coming from a guy in his 30s struggling to find free time in playing the games that he loves. Just to be clear, this is not a video about, oh man, the next time you get a fighting game, you're going to be able to learn this, this, and this, and then you're going to be doing some dope ass combos, and then we're going to Evo. It's not like that. So I want to talk about getting back into fighting games. For whatever reason, school, family, relationships, going outside, there's going to be a time when some of us, not all, but some of us actually have to step away and probably put off that next play session just for a little bit. But what's crazy is that with responsibilities or we start getting older, this becomes so much more prominent. So I want to express the things that I learned about life, gaming, and this whole YouTube space kind of thing, and what I really wanted to get out of this content making gig. So what I want to do is I want to make this channel just as a way for me to be a little bit more constructive with my hours of play. So like I said before, for whatever stage of life you're in, responsibilities are gonna start eating up a lot of your free time. So for me, I have a wife, being a dad, work. I'm also going through school. But it started getting to the point to where the things that would give me relief or escape from reality, i.e. video games or mostly fighting games, I started to put those things kind of to the side, or I just didn't quote unquote have time for them. I would try to be as best of a husband and dad as I could be for my family. So anytime my wife needed something, it's like, oh, I'm gonna start cooking. I'm like, no, don't worry, I'll do the cooking. It started getting to the point to where I didn't really have a lot of free time, or I would start getting this anxiety. I don't know if there's like a word for it. I guess I come from a Dota background, so I'm just gonna call it like true anxiety, like true damage. I'm experiencing anxiety, but this true anxiety, I just didn't understand where it was coming from because I was being productive, I was doing things, but I wasn't really trying to relieve my own stress. It got to the point to where my wife, she's telling me like, you gotta start doing things for yourself. You gotta go back to the gym or play some games. I'm like, you know what? Because that's what we did, or that's what I did a lot back when we were first dating. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna take my wife's advice. So I actually start playing games. However, that true anxiety, that guilt keeps seeping in the longer I start playing, even though everything in the house is done. So what I decided to do is I'm like, you know what? Let me be constructive with the free time that I'm using to play these games. And the only thing that came to mind is let me go make a YouTube channel. Let me start streaming, YouTube, things like that. So let me start making this content. And so I did. So I decided to start playing games, record my footage, cut together stuff, film myself. It was working for a bit, to be honest. Like, it was working to the point to where I was starting to see some traction on YouTube, and it was cool. But then I started getting into this, I don't know, I guess YouTube trap is a good way to put it. That whole make it big mentality, right? And the main reason that I was trying to push so hard with YouTube, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I dropped that. The main reason I was trying to make it big with YouTube is because I wanted to make sure that my family was okay, right? Things were being taken care of while I was using my free time to play. I was really inspired by guys like Maximilian, Sejam, Jay Wong, JM Croft, Yipes. I was able to see these guys play the games that they loved and that I loved, and I thought that was dope. To make this YouTube thing successful so that I wouldn't feel so guilty about playing games for so long, knowing that my family and the people that I'm taking care of, I'm still bringing in some kind of money or some kind of revenue. And I think everybody has that mentality as they go into YouTube. Like, their intentions are always so genuine. They never really stay true to the original idea. Why is this guy so tricky? But in terms of that initial goal, I started deviating more and more from what I wanted to really get out of this YouTube thing. It got bad to the point to where financially, I wasn't even really able to buy a PS5 because I just don't have the money for it. Like, it's too much. It started getting to the point to where as I'm trying to constantly make videos or trying to produce content, so I didn't even have a PS5. So I couldn't play Tekken 8 or Street Fighter 6, right? Or the only time I was able to really touch those is if there was an event or we had an open beta that everybody could try. So I would go to a friend's place. So in order for me to actually start producing more and more content, I started finding myself utilizing those copyright-free gameplay sources, or those free use kind of sites that let you use any kind of generic gameplay. And I would try to cut together tutorials or instructional videos on gameplay that I wasn't even really directly a part of. And it worked for a little bit, but Ideal started getting into this, I need to be successful on YouTube. And I started getting into this kind of toxic positivity loop. And what I mean by that is there's always these sites on YouTube that are telling you how to beat the YouTube algorithm, how to try and really optimize your time so that you can make the best videos possible, so that the algorithm could just pick up the video and I could start going viral. And I kind of didn't like the way that sat with me, because everybody had this same kind of advice, like, oh, put as much effort as you can into it, because once the algorithm picks you up, it's like a lottery ticket and you're gonna just skyrocket. I don't know, and it was kind of frustrating because it shouldn't be that I'm doing all this effort to try to win the lottery. If that were the case, I'll just play the lottery. And so as I was trying to make the videos, like, yeah, my mentality, I just got so much more obsessed with just trying to make a viral hit. And so what I think I'm going to try to keep doing now is the effort. I am going to try to put in effort, but I think it's to where I feel comfortable putting in the effort. Because the main thing I want to do with this YouTube channel, yes, I want to have an excuse for playing video games, but I also wanted to work on my public speaking, my ability to string together sentences so that I can have a better flow when it comes to presentations and my actual line of work. Because that's one of the things I struggle with, is being able to present myself authentically in front of an audience without just reading off a script and trying to sound like a freaking robot. So this is where I think I'm gonna have to just try and find balance. My main idea is that I want to be able to just tell people like what I've learned, some of the things I do when it comes to fighting games, even though it might be incredibly basic, or how I try to get myself at least into a new fighter or things like that. It can't be as extensive as some of the other videos out there, but at the same time, I feel like it's just going to be more of my interpretation. You know, I'm going to try to do as much as I can with this Guilty Gear Strive content and try to show you guys how to really improve, all right? And just to show you guys that fighting games can be hard. They are hard. I'm not trying to denounce that, but they can also be rewarding. They're fun. And even for a middle-aged dad, it's still something that I can jump back into and have as much fun as if I was 18 again. But with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Keep it classy. He'll thank me in the morning. Peace.